Hi, I'm Linda, and this is No Frills ASMR. So I thought today we could talk about a few more film quotes. I think it was a couple of weeks ago I did a video with some film quotes, and in the comments, somebody had a good idea that I should give the quote first so you have time to guess the movie. So I think I'll try to do something like that. I haven't really planned this out too much, other than thinking about the movies. There will be spoilers involved, but I think the newest movies, I mean, even it's 10 years old, but most of them are older than that. So, whatever. Anyway, I thought we would maybe start this with a quick poetry reading because it's important to be culturally, involved. I don't know. Look at this old book. Look at these old pages. Anyway, let's just flip to a random poem. There we go. That was going to be a good one. Let's go right. What? This page is, look at this, guys. This page isn't cut. How about that? Huh. That's funny. Oh, I almost knocked my Lego. I built this. If you're curious, there's a video where I'm building it. Okay, let's find a poem. Here's a good one. Gather ye rosebuds while ye may. Old time is still a-flyin', and this same flower that smiles today, tomorrow will be dying. Carpe, carpe, carpe diem. Seize the day, boys. Make your lives extraordinary. And that is a quote from a movie. Any guesses? I'm sure a lot of you are very familiar with that one. The movie, let's see, how should I do this? How should I tell this? Well, the movie stars Robin Williams, and he has been brought in, I think it's a New England all-boys school, and I feel like it was in the 60s, I would say the late 60s or something, but they're still very old-fashioned at this school, very conservative, and Robin Williams' character comes in as a young professor, and he is teaching outside of traditional ways. He's trying to make the boys really think. So there is a scene where he is in the hallway with the boys, and on the one side of the room there's a glass case with all the trophies and all the things, you know how schools have that with all their awards and photos of the different teams, and all the boys are standing here while Robin Williams is talking to them. And during that time, he reads the poem that I just read to you, Gather ye rosebuds while ye may. And he gets behind the boys and says, go look at the photos on the wall. And so they all get up close and they're looking at the photo. And it's a black and white photo of all these men, probably from the 1930s, so before their time. And Robin Williams says, they look like you. They have the same haircuts. They're young. They're alive. But they're all making fertilizer now. They're all dead. And the boys are staring. And he says, get up there. Look close. Look really close. And so all the boys have their nose to the glass. And Robin Williams gets behind them, his character. And he says, carpe, carpe, carpe diem. Seize the day, boys. Make your And at that moment, you feel that, like, oh. And that is a scene from the movie The Dead Poets Society. And there are a lot of quotes from this film. I kind of thought of a few others, so we'll do that in a future. So if you want to watch this movie before we do another one of these, it's a good movie. The boys go on to kind of try to figure out what the story is with their professor, and they learn that he was in a group back when he went to school there. I think it's a high school, called the Dead Poets Society. Actually, the title is Dead Poets Society. It's not I think it's Dead. Yeah. So they find that out, and then they kind of resurrect the club, the Dead Poets Society. But there's a lot more to that movie. I won't spoil the whole thing, but it's a good movie. So that was our first quote, is Carpe Diem. And you'll hear people say that a lot. I mean, obviously, it's an old Latin term for seize the day, and it was that before Dead Poets Society. But after this movie came out, it became a thing people say a lot. Carpe diem, seize the day, boys, seize the day. And I say that to my sons regularly. And, I just asked them, because I knew my one son had seen Good Will Hunting recently. And I said, have you seen Dead Poets? And they haven't seen it yet. So I hope they'll watch it. Now, it's been a lot of years since I've seen it, but I think it's great. I think it'll hold up. Let me know if you think it'll hold up in current day. I don't know. Okay. Our next quote, let me think how to say it. How to, introduce it. Okay, well, I'm just going to say the quote. The quote is, "Are you not entertained?" But it's more screamed, like, "Are you not entertained?" And I won't tell you the name, I guess, of the film. I'll just tell you the background of that. There is a general. We're back in the ancient times, I think, Roman times, BC. There's a video on BC and AD if you're curious, called What Century Is It? But there was a once powerful general. He's retired, I believe, and he's played by Russell Crowe. And the emperor of Rome has a son who he despises, I think is my memory. And so he passes over his son and decides he wants the general, Russell Crowe, to become the next emperor. Well, hearing that news, the son, who is played by, I'm sorry. It's going to bug me that I can't think of his name. You guys know him. He plays the Joker. Okay, I'll let that go. It'll come to me in a minute. Anyway, so the son of the emperor who has been passed over is mad, obviously. So and I mean mad like angry. So he kills his father, the emperor, and he sends the troops to go kill the family of the general who's supposed to become the next emperor, Russell Crowe. And so the scene shows you this emperor's family being murdered, his children, his wife. It's terrible. It's just bad. And they hang them up on a tree or something. I forget exactly. And then the emperor, Russell Crowe's character, comes back home and finds him there. And they end up my memory could be off because it's been years since I've seen the movie, but I watched it a lot, and I watched all the behind the scenes. I had the DVD. I love this movie. But anyway, they basically kidnap him and sell him into slavery to be a gladiator. Oh, to be a gladiator. I gave it away. That is the name of the movie, Gladiator. And there is a scene where Russell Crowe's character, the gladiator, has gone into the arena, and there are like multiple other gladiators there to fight him, and he fights them all, and like it's a pretty awesome fight scene. It's really good. And he's like, "Grr, grr, grr." Although there's one spot where there's a guy who could have hit him from behind with a big ball that has spikes on it, and I don't know why he didn't. But anyway, so then Russell Crowe has like killed, I don't know, 6 guys, and he turns around to the biggest dude and he like stabs him, and he has 2 swords. And I think he stabs him again. And then he pulls them out, and then he like crosses them and goes and cuts off the guy's head. You guys, it's crazy. And then the crowd goes wild, and he takes his sword and he throws it up towards where the I guess the Roman, I don't think that the emperor was there, but maybe he was, I don't remember, but it's up towards the stand where the real elite people sit. And it kind of gets quiet for a minute because that was a little crazy. And then he screams, "Are you not entertained?" And that is from Gladiator. And that is another movie that I could probably come up with a ton of quotes from. And I just love it. I just love Gladiator. I don't know how many times I watched that. And I have heard rumors that they're making another Gladiator movie. I don't know. It's almost like sometimes it scares me because I don't want them to mess it up, you know. Okay, let's see, what other one did I think of? Okay, this is another. I'm kind of doing movies that I just love the movie. But this one, the character says, hold on, let me think how to say it. He says, "I'm your huckleberry." I love this movie. Now, this character says this line a couple of times in the movie, but the time I'm talking about is the last time. So, in this movie, Val Kilmer plays the character Doc Holliday, and they're out in the old American West. In the town, I can't say the town name. But Doc Holliday has moved out there with his wife, Big Nose Kate, because I think he has tuberculosis, and the dry air is supposed to be better for you. But also because he just kind of likes, shooting guns. Anyway, so I won't try to explain the entire movie to you. But basically, the Earp brothers, have gotten into real trouble with a guy named Johnny Ringo and the Cowboys in the Old West. And this is sort of based on the true story. I've been to the town where this, took place because I lived out in Arizona. But Doc Holliday, played by Val Kilmer, was just a better shot than any of them. He's just a better gunfighter, I think. And so towards the end of the movie, the Earp brothers, a few of them have been killed by the Cowboys. And there's another great quote. I might have to just go for it. And Kurt Russell's character is Wyatt Earp, and he says to the Cowboys, I didn't write this quote down, it's just in my head, so I might get it a little wrong, but he says, "I'm coming for you and hell's coming with me. Hell's coming with me." Oh, it's a good one. But anyway, so then they decide they're going to go get all the Cowboys. They're going to kill him. And to help them, they have deputized Val Kilmer's character, Doc Holliday. And Johnny Ringo, the head of the Cowboys, has said to Wyatt Earp, meet me at this tree up on this mountain, and we'll finish this. Well, Val Kilmer, Doc Holliday, hates Johnny Ringo. So he shows up, and it's very exciting. And Johnny Ringo makes a comment like, thinking it's Wyatt Earp, and says, I didn't think you'd show. And Val Kilmer kind of comes out of the shadow and says, I'll be your huckleberry. And then they have a Mexican shoot-off that's very reminiscent of the shoot-offs they had in The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, where they show their eyes. It's all very fun. So, if you haven't guessed, that all took place in the town of Tombstone. And that is the name of the movie. I think a lot of these, now that I'm looking at them, they're probably all 1990 or right around there. It was a good time for movies, I think. Because, you know what? They were just fun. They're meant to entertain. And they did. So, I'll be your huckleberry from Tombstone. I love that movie. I bet I've seen Tombstone and Gladiator and Jaws. Yeah, I bet those three movies more than any other movies. I'm trying to think if there's... I don't know. Anyway, okay. The next one, let me get a book here. Hopefully you can't see it. Let me see. No, you can't. And I'll flip to a page. Hold on. I don't want to show you the book because I don't want to give away anything. Okay. Let's see. How can I do this? I got ink on my finger. This might give it away right off. The Interior, Carnegie Delicatessen Day. I won't say the names. 2 people are seated at a table waiting for their sandwiches. All right. What do you do with these women? Do you just get out of bed and leave? The guy. That's girl, and this is guy, so it'll go back and forth. Sure. Well, explain to me how you do it. What do you say? A waiter brings their order. I say I have an early meeting, a haircut, an early squash game. You don't even play squash. They don't know that. They just met me. Rearranging the meat on her sandwich. That's disgusting. I know, I feel terrible. Takes a bite out of sandwich. You know, I'm so glad I never got involved with you. I just would have ended up being some woman you had to get up out of bed and leave at 3 o'clock in the morning and go clean your andirons. Andirons. And you don't even have a fireplace. Andirons. Yeah. Quite irritated now, slapping the meat over more quickly. Not that I would know this. Why are you getting so upset? This is not about you. Yes, it is. You're a human affront to all women, and I'm a woman. Bites into sandwich. I don't feel great about this, but I don't hear anyone complaining. Of course not. You're out the door too fast. I think they have an okay time. How do you know? What do you mean, how do I know? I know. And then she says, because they... And he says, yes, because they... How do you know they're really... What are you saying? They fake orgasm? It's possible. Get out of here. Why, most women at one time or another have faked it. Well, they haven't faked it with me. How do you know? Because I know. Oh, right. Sets her sandwich down. That's right, I forgot. You're a man. What's that supposed to mean? Nothing. It's just that all men are sure it never happens to them, and most women at one time or another have done it. So you do the math. You don't think I can tell the difference? No. Get out of here. He bites into his sandwich. She just stares at him. A seductive look comes onto her face. Ugh. All right, I'm not going to act out this scene. because this is a family-friendly thing. But she basically totally fakes an orgasm while sitting at the table at the delicatessen, and it's hilarious and way over the top and absolutely adorable because she's so cute. Oops. And then an older woman says, it goes on for 2 pages, that's how long that. The older woman says, I'll have what she's having. And that is the next quote. I'll have what she's having. That was a weird way to tell you that one, wasn't it? Anyway, so you probably figured it out from my book, but there is a movie where a young couple end up driving home from college together and they don't know each other. And it's kind of a contentious drive, and they argue and bicker. And they have a discussion about whether men and women can be platonic friends or not. And the debate is, ongoing throughout the drive. And then they don't see each other again until 10 years later. They run into each other at a bookstore. And they're best friends. I think their best friends end up dating, and so they end up being together a lot and being friends. And it keeps coming up, can you be platonic friends? And they are platonic friends and get along. But then that incident happens. And of course he's kind of looking at her like, oh, wait a minute. And then at the end, the old woman goes, I'll have what she's having. And the woman who plays that part is the mother of the director of that movie, Rob Reiner. It's Estelle Reiner, which is kind of funny. But anyway, so the movie is called When Harry Met Sally. And I think it's probably one of the best romantic comedies. It's very, very well written by Nora Ephron. It's funny. It's sweet. It's true to life. So, yeah, that is I'll Have What She's Having from When... Uh-oh, my handwriting's getting sloppy. Harry Met Sally. And I have the book because I'm a nerd like that. And Meg Ryan is at her absolute peak, acting, being adorable, looking adorable. I'm in love with her. Billy Crystal, young Billy Crystal, so funny. The two of them together were so good. So yeah, I recommend watching that movie if you haven't seen it. It's real cute. Now, I also haven't seen that one in a long, long time, but I think it would hold up. I am not going to say a word about my cat coughing in the background. But if you hear it, that's what's happening. Okay. I think I'll do one more. And I have props. Okay, let me think of how to do this one. Hold on. Okay, the quote is, music time's over. Any guesses? So that's the quote. And hold on, let me grab this real quick. If I can fit it on the table. I'm going to have to move my Lego bonsai tree out of the way, I think. Maybe my light to move everything. Good grief. Okay. This is the American Guitar Illustrated History. And I actually saved a page in here. Oh, for goodness sakes. Where did my page holder go? You know what? My husband picked up this book after I marked it. And I bet he went, what's this doing here? Oh, for goodness sakes. All right, hold on. I'll tell you the story while I'm trying to look this up. So in this movie, I think we're back in maybe the Old West. It's post-Civil War. And this group of, well, I won't try to tell the whole story. But basically these kind of outlaw type people are held up in a cabin together. And there's a woman who, oh my gosh, there's so many. I don't know how I'm going to find it. There's a woman who they have chained up, like a handcuff on her to keep her from running because she's a wild woman. And she is playing her guitar. And she's sitting there playing guitar, and it's not bad. It's kind of a nice little moment. And suddenly, the character who's kind of holding her there gets sick of it and grabs her guitar and screams out the line, "Music time's over." And then he takes the guitar, and this character is played by Kurt Russell, and the woman who is playing the guitar is played by Jennifer Jason Leigh. And the Kurt Russell character takes the guitar and he smashes it against the wall. And Jennifer Jason Leigh is screaming, "No, wait, no, wait." And she actually looks towards the director. I mean, you can feel her reaction is like an actual kind of panic reaction. And hold on one second. I have to concentrate. I'm not a person who can do two things. All right, I think this, oh look, there's my placeholder. And I was blaming my husband for moving it. Okay, and the guitar looked very similar to this Martin mid-1800s guitar. And that quote, I'm just going to tell you because I want to tell you this story. It's a movie by Quentin Tarantino. It was a good movie. I saw it on Christmas Day in film on the big screen. You know, he had like these big showings, and we got a booklet. Oh, I should have brought my booklet for it. Maybe we'll go through that one day if you're interested. But it was called, I gotta think it fits. I guess somebody's worried I put the on things that, you know, but it is. The Hateful Eight. I love Quentin Tarantino. I mean, I love his movies. I don't know about him. He might be a kook. But I love all his movies. But this is just particular from The Hateful Eight because the scene is interesting. So Jennifer Jason Leigh is playing the woman who's holding the guitar. And she is very aware that Martin Guitar Company Museum has loaned the production an actual guitar from the mid-1800s. And that guitar is valued, well, it's sort of invaluable. You know what I mean? There aren't enough of them to have it have value, but certainly well over 125,000. I mean, it's a very valuable guitar. But more than being valuable, it's super rare, and the museum appreciates that. But these museums would loan them out to productions, I think, so that at the museum they can say this guitar was seen in the Hateful Eight movie. So they have loaned it to the production, and Jennifer Jason Leigh knows she's holding the museum piece. They have made replicas of this guitar that look identical. And this is why I wanted to show you this, because it's not like it looks like, you know, some kind of spectacular. It just looks like a guitar. And I could totally understand if, well, that anybody, I mean, they replicas they make, you're never going to know the difference. It's going to look just like it. So why they even loaned it out, I don't know. They could have just used a replica. But anyway, so when Kurt Russell grabbed the guitar, he doesn't know that there's a real one and a replica. He's just like had asked the director, what do you want me to do? Just go and go until I smash the guitar? And they said, yeah. So he goes, music time's over. And he grabs the guitar and smashes it on the wall. And Jennifer Jason Leigh knows it's the Martin original. And her reaction is crazy. And to this day, when you hear Kurt Russell talk about it, he'll go, oh yeah, I smashed that old Gibson. He doesn't even know like it's a Martin. But anyway, So that's a fun story and unfortunate, but I'm sure they had plenty of insurance on it. But you know, all these productions, like, you can just use a replica. And also, you don't have to use real bullets and guns. Just saying. Okay, so Dead Poets Society, Gladiator, Tombstone, When Harry Met Sally, and then Music Time's Over from the Hateful Eight. Which I've heard, my son told me Netflix did like kind of a editor's cut of it where they added scenes and made it into a instead of one long movie, a series, which maybe I should watch because that might be fun to see. Anyway, all right, I did have others, and in the comments of the last video, a lot of you gave me good ideas, so I'm definitely gonna look into those. These were some that I already had in mind, and I'm very familiar, with all these movies, so I just thought I'd do these. Yeah. So, Dead Poets Society, Carpe Diem, Seize the Day, Boys, Gladiator, Are You Not Entertained? And by the way, I could have these quotes slightly off. I'm pretty sure that's right, though, right? Yeah. And then Tombstone, I'll Be Your Huckleberry. By the way, Val Kilmer in Tombstone is so good. And Val Kilmer in Top Gun is so good. And Val Kilmer in the Doors movie is so good. Like, Val Kilmer was just a fun actor. Really fun to watch. And he ended up, I think he has throat cancer and he's in remission. But he was in that last Top Gun movie. But, if you didn't know who he was before, you may have wondered, like, why did they bring this old guy out? But he was pretty awesome. So, and there's a documentary called Val. Sorry, my mouth did something. Called Val on, I think it's on Netflix. That was good too. I think that came out a couple of years ago. Anyway, okay. And then When Harry Met Sally, I'll Have What She's Having. But if you're just looking for a romantic comedy, it's a good one. It's fun. The Hateful Eight, Music Time's Over, and then the smashing of the real Martin guitar. Oh my goodness. Anyway. All right. Well, we'll come back again and do more movie quotes because I love movies or TV shows. That could be fun too. I could do Seinfeld quotes.